Thank you. First rule of public speaking, always start with a joke. Why did the Tofurky cross the road?
Why?
To prove it wasn't chicken. Okay, there you go. Double entendre. This is the Tofurky, family-owned business since 1980, and this is the brief: how to grow a sustainable business in 32 easy years. Not so easy years, some, but this is a thing that started actually in 1972. Whoop. Go right back there. Yeah, so this is me in 1972, walking down New York City street with hair, and at that point, right around that time, I read this book, which is Diet for a Small Planet by Francis Moore Lappé. Maybe people have seen that book. And the premise of this book was that animals were an unsustainable protein machine in reverse. You poured in 16 pounds of grain in the top of the machine and it spit out 1 little pound of protein. Didn't make sense. I was a naturalist and I was studying birds and leading wildlife tours with kids in Ohio. And let's go next slide. In 1980, after being a starving naturalist, I decided to be a starving tempeh maker. In this little Hope co-op, they rented me a cafe kitchen that they were only using in the day, and I made tempeh at night in this refrigerator that I pulled out of under the Burnside Bridge with the help of 3 drunks from the Produce Row Cafe, and started Turtle Island Soy Dairy. My idea was, like, we're going to be rich enough to get all of our dreams going and make things happen. This was my business plan. In 1980, I wrote this, and this was what I was going to make: 48 pounds of tempeh a week. And then in March, I was going to raise that to 150 pounds and sell it at the Saturday market. And here in the future, 2 to 5 years, I was going to move to Trout Lake because that's where all my old buddies from outdoor school lived. And that was my thing. And here's my the money side of things. This is Excel minus 5.0. Before there was Excel, we scribbled notes on paper with things called pens. And my rent was $25 a month, and labor, I figured at $3 an hour for 20 hours a week, I got $60 a week, $240 a month. So, you know, that was what the plan was. $50 in advertising, very small, and then I was going to put $64 in the profit pocket there. So that was the thing. I don't know what these scribbles are, but we'll go ahead. Then in 1982, I was tired of working at night in this little cafe, and we got some distribution, so we moved into the old Hewsum School, and it was sitting empty from the logging days of the community of Hewsum, and so I rented this building out for $150 a month, which was great, except that we had there was big headlines in the Enterprise in 1982, not so prosperous. It said, "Tempeh plant opens in Hewsum," and we were getting all these calls from people like, "I'd like to be your secretary," and we were like, "Great, that's right, but we're making $100 a week or something, so we'll let you know." But we were just making tempeh, and then to keep expenses low, I moved into this little tree house that I built and lived there. It was right about 1.5 miles from the tempeh shop, and that kept my overhead low or high. And let's go to the next one. This was also early Excel version. Now we're up to minus 3.0, but there's my weekly sales in 1983, 917, 1,000. And then you can see in December, things always fell down. Here I'm only pulling in $500 a week. So with that in mind, we moved over here to the Groff building. This was in 1992, we moved in there. This was our first little boiler, and we invented Tofurky because Tofurky, there was nothing for vegetarians to eat at Thanksgiving, and so we started Tofurky, and it went kind of crazy. This was where we were at in 92. You can see we had gross sales in 92 of $181,000, but you go down here to the bottom line, oh, what's that? We lost $49,000. So we made 180 and we managed to lose a third of it. But it was like that, and then Tofurky came along, This was the Thanksgiving that I always went to, and we always tried to make stuffed pumpkin that wasn't so good, gluten roast, you couldn't cut it with a chainsaw. And then we invented the Tofurky roast. This is the first box. This was the first Tofurky. It had 8 drumsticks and a tofu stuffed roast. We didn't know what Tofurkys looked like in the wild, but we knew they had 8 legs because there was 8 drumsticks there. And then movie stars like Christina Applegate dragged it onto Jay Leno, and pretty soon this little company was putting the Washington Post on hold to talk to the New York Times, and it was crazy because we got all of this media thing. I even got a question on Jeopardy, or The Answer, which was brand a Thanksgiving meat alternative marketed by entrepreneur Seth Tibbott. They didn't get it. Nobody got it. And as my friend said, you're nothing until you're the Daily Double. But it was great publicity, and people started taking photos of the Tofurky all the way around the world. We now sell all this array of Tofurky products, not just holiday products, deli slices, sausage, ground product, hot dogs. They're all 100% vegan and non-GMO. So that's our big thing. There you go. In fact, we did a little study here and found that Tofurky, these are all other companies, most of whom are publicly owned now. We're family owned and independent, and we make the most sausages of any company in the world, actually, vegetarian, meatless sausage. If you stretched them all out, I think they'd go Portland to Chicago on a yearly basis. So we make a lot of sausage, and deli slices are the same thing. So we're the biggest producer of refrigerated meatless deli slices and sausage on the planet, on meatless. So that's where this crazy thing that started in a little co-op went to. And we have all these frozen products now. We have pizza, we got pockets coming out, pot pies, quiche, and everything, like I said, is 100% vegan. Got a new plant right down there on the port, and this is a LEED Platinum food plant, which is hard to get. We're putting 400-something solar panels on the roof that'll funnel, among other things, the electric car charging station, which is free for anybody that's coming through and needs a charge. And who needs to stand in line at the gas pumps anyways? But this is the second LEED Platinum food plant in the U.S. and the 6th in the world. So it's kind of a rare thing. It's very difficult to get. Thank you. And the biggest thing of our sustainability, it's great, and we have all of these little features. We're going to have tours of the plant in September 6th, 7th, and 8th. We're doing a big grand opening. You're all invited. We're going to have beer and free Tofurky sausages, and we do it because we feel like meat is the most, not just unsustainable, but the most unsustainable thing we got going on this planet, and we got to get off of it and eat less. And that's my little TED Talk. So, thank you.